welcome to another episode of HTV. I'm Mr. Thibodeau, and this is episode 5. We have another great show lined up for you this week with the word of the week, the weather forecast, and the finest random facts, quotes, and jokes this side of the Willamette. But before we get started, let's start the show off with our admin tips.
Happy Wednesday, Herons. It's so great to see you. Here's my admin tip of the week for you. So after I've been sitting in front of the computer all day, I like to relieve my stress with some laughter. Like they say, life is better when you're laughing. So let's go out to the main office and see if we can bring a little joy and see if we can get them to laugh.
Let's see if we can make the office staff laugh. Joke number 1. So my husband got me a world map, and then he put it up in the kitchen, and he said, here's a dart. Take the dart, throw it, wherever it hits, we're going to go after the pandemic's over. And it looks like we're spending 2 weeks behind the refrigerator. Okay. All right. Joke number 2. I was watching my neighbor, and she was talking to her cat, and it's super obvious that she thinks her cat can understand her. So then I went home, and I shut the door, and I told my dog all about it, and we laughed and laughed. Success!
Hey Herons, so Mr. Mulligan also loves a good joke, especially some bad dad jokes. Great way to relieve stress with everything going on. So here's my joke for you all. What kind of jokes do you tell during quarantine? Inside jokes.
Thanks, admin team, for the tips. But before we get any further, let's talk about brunch. What delicacies did you guys bring to your CCC class this morning? I look forward to talking about it next week on Heron TV. Now, I know my Community Connections class sure had fun playing La Loteria and our Latinx Kahoot trivia last week, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. For the remainder of October, we will be celebrating another important month, for it is Disability Awareness Month. Now, I want to take a little bit of time to talk about my deaf sister. She was born missing a part of her collarbone, and that played a part with her missing her hearing. Did you know the collarbone helped with hearing? I know I would not have if it were not for my sister. Still, without her hearing, she's a hard worker who works with young deaf kids to help them figure out their lives. And I think that's very cool. Now, let's turn things over to Mr. Wright for this week's Quote of the Week.
Hello, Herons. This is Mr. Wright with your HVMS Quote of the Week. This week's quote is from Eric Wyenmeyer, who is a blind adventurer. Eric lost his eyesight in childhood by the age of 13. He lived his life by seeking the path of most resistance and doing the hard things in life. Some of Eric's incredible accomplishments include being the first blind person to climb Mount Everest. He accomplished that in 2001. And then in 2008, Eric completed climbing the famous 7 summits, which is the highest points on each of our continents. Eric has also kayaked the Grand Canyon, climbed the nose of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park, as well as many other rocks, mountains, and adventures. After becoming blind, Eric said one thing that really helped him was, quote, "I let go of the things I couldn't do, and I focused on what I had." When you realize all the things you have, your life is completely full. And that is your HVMS Quote of the Week.
Excellent quote, Mr. Wright. Our counselors provide much more than your traditional counseling services with these exceptional appearances on HTV. One of my favorite contributors to HTV isn't even on our school staff, but rather is a student. So let's turn things over to Kayla with her joke of the day.
a joke?
Sure.
Okay, what did the science book say to the math book?
I don't know. What did it say?
Wow, you've got problems. Not funny. Okay. Do you have a joke?
Oh, yes, actually. Okay, what's the best thing about Switzerland?
What?
I don't know, but the flag is a big plus.
Okay, not funny. Got it. I mean, we are twins, so it makes sense when we can't tell a good joke. Yeah, you're right.
Wait a minute, am I seeing double? Great job, Kayla. And Kayla. Now, did you get a chance to participate in last week's weekly challenge? Because I am going to be passing this right back to Kayla, or maybe even Kayla, as she shows off some of your fantastically creative transitions.
Hey Herons, I'm Kayla, and this is your weekly challenge. Let's look at what people did for last week's weekly challenge. Thanks for sending in your video clips. Halloween looks a little bit different this year, but we can still get into the spirit of it. This week's weekly challenge is to show off your pumpkin anything. Anything. Make sure if you want to be on HTV, send this email a clip of you doing the weekly challenge. See you next week.
So show your pumpkins, Heron, and send in your clips. It's that time of the year. I double dog dare you.
We triple dog dare you!
You know, Herons, when I'm not playing Big Chungus, I spend a lot of time online doing some research about all sorts of things. You know, the other day I learned something pretty fascinating about wolves. So let's turn things over to Lana for this week's random fact of the episode.
Hi, Owens, and this is your random fact of the episode. A baby wolf pup is born with blue eyes, and around 8 months it changes to yellow.
That wasn't just random, that was your random fact of the episode. I can't believe that a wolf's eyes change color as they grow older. Speaking of changes, is the weather going to start seeming more like winter and less like summer? Let's check the 7-day weather forecast and find out. Wow, it's really going to get cold this weekend. It might be time to get out those winter clothes. You know, Herons, ever since I was on the Word of the Week last week, everyone's been asking me about the vocabulary wizard. Everyone seems to think I look like him or something, which is crazy, by the way. I just don't see the resemblance. I just found his number on Craigslist, and anytime I get stuck on a word, I just give him a call. It's a pretty handy service that he offers. So let's wrap up today's show with another Word of the Week.
Caterpillar goes through a metamorphosis. Metamorphosis? I wonder what that word means. You know what? I'm going to call the vocabulary wizard. Mr. Thibodeau gave me his number, and I'm going to see if I can figure this out.
Huh. That's Mr. Oliver. Ugh. Alright, go for vocabulary wizard.
Hi, vocabulary wizard. I can't believe you actually answered.
Well, I'm in the middle of a very important thing that I'm doing. You know, it's a very top secret. What sort of thing do you need?
I was wondering if you could help me out with a word.
Metamorphosis. Yes, I know this word. A metamorphosis is a change of the form or nature of a thing or a person into a completely different one by natural or supernatural means.
So it's a big change going through a process. Okay. Oh, kind of like in Harry Potter when Lupin transforms into a werewolf, right?
Yes, exactly. He metamorphosed into a werewolf.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, vocabulary wizard.
Yes, of course. Call me anytime.
Appreciate it.
Ha-ha, suckers! Well, I sure am glad I got Mr. Oliver in touch with the vocabulary wizard. He seems to know all the tough words. I still don't see why everyone thinks I look like him. But anyways, that's all we have time for this week. But be sure to tune in next Wednesday for another exciting episode. I'm Mr. Thibodeau. Have a great day, Herons. Ejected? What? One does not merely eject the vocabulary wizard into space. Curses.